you that I will actually teach you Python dictionaries for question number 4. So I'm making this rather long video, but what I really want to do is I want to build your concept step by step in this video. So I request every student to watch this video completely before you practice the question 4 videos. Those are Picothermal 1, Picothermal 2 and Picothermal 3. Those are in the list, and I'll also make this video also available in the list for question number 4. I really want to recap on explaining you the concept of dictionary. First, letting you know how the same thing you can do with list, so you really understand it, because the question 4 is about list and dictionary. So it's really important that you understand both concepts. So let's get started, right? So let's say if we want to save the fruits and their colors, right? And that's what we want to do in dictionaries, right? So if there is an apple has a red color, a banana has a yellow color, and then grape has purple color. So these are the colors that we want to save, and in a list we can simply create two lists, right? The first list is this one, fruit, and the second list is color, and then we actually put those there. And if we want to print that fruit with its color, we can simply do this, right? We can do this like this. We can say print, let's say we'll use obviously loop for that, right? So what we could do is we could say for I in fruits. We just pick up one, okay? Here we go, fruits, and then we start printing. We say well, I in fruits, so we say I'll print all the fruits, right? So like this, we say fruits and sub, but we'll just have to print I in this case, like this, right? And it'll print all the fruits, but it will not print the color, right? Look at this. I'm going to do this slightly up there, right here. As you can see, it just printed the fruits. It did not print the color. Now, if we want to print color, we will say I for I in colors, and then we can just print color, right? And it'll print all the colors at the bottom. But what we want to do is we want to print the color in front of the fruit. So for that we need to do it slightly differently. We need to basically do it under one loop, and the way we could do it, we just say this. We say for I in, we can say range, right? This one, range instead of fruit, because we want the index number, right? So we say for I in range, and in the range we just go up to 0, 1, 2. Actually we need 3, right? So 1, 0, 1, 2, right? 0, 1, 2. So this way what we could do is we could say fruits, okay? And then we could say like this, and then we could say equal with the fruit equal, and well, what I want to say is name, fruit name. I could do this actually. We could say fruit name like this, comma, and then I say color name, like this, color name, color, or just don't have to say name, we just say color, and then comma, and we say color sub I. Now because I value is 0, 1, 2, so what will happen is when the loop runs, the first time I value will be 0, and then 1, and then 2, right? This is what the range will do. And then first time it will print a fruit sub 0 and color sub 0, which is apple and red. So apple will be printed here and red will be printed here, right? And then it goes to 1, and then these two will print, and then the grapes will print. So if I run this now, you see here, fruit name apple, color red. Now this thing, if I want to do this same thing, instead of using two fruits and color, I could do it in a multi-dimensional array as well, the same thing, right? If I want to do the same thing in multi-dimension. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically, not array, it's called list, by the way. In C language we call it array, but in Python we call it list. So this list is a single dimension list. I want to do the same thing with the double dimension list. So how would I do that, right? So I have written a program already for you so that we don't have to waste time, right? And I'm gonna do this instead of like doing this, right, single, I can do a double dimension list. So double dimension list will be like this: fruit, color. I will merge, you know, these two into one, double dimension, right? Fruits and color. So I will make it like this: fruit, color, and within that I will have multiple lists like apple, red, banana, yellow, grapes, purple. Now still it is not a dictionary, it's still a like, you know, initially we had like this, right? Initially we had two lists, right, like this. One was color and one was red, right? So this is the what we had in the previous program, right? So then we could just, you know, actually with 0, 1, 2 and 3, we could, through the index we can find out, or if here we put the fruit name and here we put the color, here we put the fruit name and a color. So on those index and those things, we know exactly how to reach the color for into two arrays. So this is one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is that you put a single list like this. Okay, this is called double dimension list. So within that you put another list, right, like this, right, and that list has two subscripts, right, yeah, like this. And then you have another list. So within that you have two dimension list like this, right, two values, right? And that's what we're doing in a double dimension list. So here we put 0, first fruit, which will be apple. Apple will be here and its color will be here. Apple name would be the banana will be here, color will be here. Grapes will be here, color will be here. So that's exactly what we're doing here. Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing here. These three lists within the list. So what is the upper list? Upper list is this one, you see here, this one. So this is the upper list like this. So this is a list. Within that there are multiple lists. So that's exactly called double dimension list. So this is single dimension, this is double dimension, right? So and then obviously double dimension you need a loop. So you say for fruit in double dimension list, and we say fruit sub 0 is equal to, if the apple, then, you know, print apple. So if you want to print apple, right, so if you want to print all the fruits, you don't have to do this, you just go through this like this, right? We could do a range as well here actually, or maybe just forget about this whole thing. You know, what do? We just print the whole fruit sub colors. Let's see what it prints, right? Here we go. Fruit, not fruits, it's fruit. There we go. Fruit. All right, here we go. Slightly up, here we go. Okay, here we go. You see here now within one, see, this is like a list within a list. So if we want to access apple color, that would be something like that. Now we're gonna print the same way as we printed earlier on. So we're gonna print, let's access different colors. So we're gonna say fruit name, okay, and for that what I need to do is fruit color. I'll say fruit name is in 1, this is 0 on 0, fruit name is 0 sub 0, that's fruit name. 0 sub 0 is fruit name. And if I say color, okay, that would be fruit sub color, and that would be, okay, if I look at it, this is 0, this is 0, 0 and 0, 0, 0. Okay, this is 0, 0, this is 0, 1, this is 1, 0, 1, 1, this is 2, 0, this is 2, 1, right? So here would be, if I want to print the first fruit color, which is 0, 0, which is apple, and then 0, 1, mean here 0, here 0, and then I have to do this thing again, 1. like this 1, right? This 0 1 would be red, right? This is red, and this 0 0 is basically apple. So if we do this here 0 1, that would be red, like I said, red. And if I print here, it will print apple and its color red, right? Yeah, no, there's something good. I need to see where I made a mistake. Is it color not defined? Oh, name of the variable, fruit colors, not color. There we go. See here, it said apple and red. So if I want to do it in the loop, that would be double dimension loop, right? I have to do it something like that. I have to say for I in range, right? Range, and I would say 3, and then I do another loop for x in range. I would say 2. Okay, and that would be, first would be 3 because there are 3 colors, so I will say I here, and here I will say x. Okay, I and x. I and x. Oh, actually I don't need to do that. I could do 0 and I could do 1, and I can still do this in the I don't need this loop actually to print this. I'll print all 3 colors like this. So this is 0 0 0 1, then 1 0 1 1. So this is, you're going to print all 3 colors. I thought I need to see, here you go, print all 3 colors. Here we go, a red and banana and yellow. See, same thing I could do with double dimension array, but like this, right? What I did in a single dimension array here, look at this. I did the same thing in single dimension array. I printed the fruit name and fruit color. Look at this with this single loop, and see here, and the same thing I did with the double dimension array. As you see here, this one, double dimension, right? Now I'm going to move on to the list. When I say array, I meant list, right? Double dimension list and single dimension list. So this is a single dimension list. I did the same thing, and then I did the double dimension list, did the same thing. Now I want to do actually same thing with dictionary. I mean, see, this is a bit complicated when you use double dimension array for this. So why not to use dictionary? All right. So with dictionary, only difference of doing this would be like this. See here, this is fruit, so I have to turn this into this and this into this, right? So I change this here, you see here, I change this like this. Initially it was like this, but I changed it to this because that's dictionary sign, right? That's dictionary. Second thing I need to do is, instead of doing this, I would do this. Instead of comma, I would do this. See here, I would do this instead of comma. Now that's the key, that's the value. So apple has the key, value is red. Banana is the key, value is red. And then grapes is key, value is purple. Obviously with dictionary, as you can see, I have written this program here. So you don't need, one more thing you don't need is this one here. You don't need this one with dictionary. Now you have a key pair, key value pair. Alright, like this, because I've written this program already for you. Okay, same thing. And if I run this, because okay, sorry about that, my bad. So I don't need to run this range now because it's not a dictionary. You see, this is not a array. So when I print it, I don't need to do this 0 0 1 1, right? All I have to do is I say I in range what colors. So I will do this. I have written this here. So to print this, first if I want to print, let's say if this is the one like this dictionary, I want to print the color of apple is, so I'll just say fruit sub apple, right? Like this, fruit sub apple. So if I run this, it'll say color of apple is red, right? Then I could do the same thing with, I could say fruit for I in fruit underscore colors. If I do run this, sorry, colors, if I do this, and instead of this I just print okay, I just print I. Let's print I. And we'll bring it under this. There you go. See, it printed banana, apple and grapes because I in fruit color is actually key. It picks up the key. See here, not the thing. Now what I want to do is I want to print exactly what I printed last time, right? So I will say here I'll say the fruit color, and then I want to print this color as well, right? So what I'll do is fruit color, okay, and then I will say the color. Now I got the key. You see here when I printed this I for I in fruit color, it printed the key, this key. So in order to print this red, I need to do this. Look, watch me doing this, what I'm going to do. Okay, here's the color, all right, and comma, I'll say fruit underscore colors, and here like this, oh, comma here, I'm sorry, it's a comma here. I was missing a comma here, this one here. Okay, here we go. Sorry, I was missing a comma. I thought maybe there's something wrong. Sorry about that. So there, this comma was missing. So always when you do this, make sure these commas are there, right? So here, this is fruit color here. This one, I is apple, and fruits are by red. Mean it is basically key. So let me explain you this. What is this fruits are by? Basically, when this runs, first time value of I would be apple. So fruits of apple is basically key. It's print its value red. Okay. Then second time when runs, the I value is what? Banana. And fruits of banana, fruits are by banana is actually yellow. So it printed yellow. The third time, it basically the I value is grapes. Fruits are by would be purple. Why? Because against grapes, this is the key value is purple. So that's why it is actually printing purple. My battery is going down, so I need to put my charger. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. All right. So, all right. Okay, so are we good? All right, let's move on then. See here, you have done the same thing what you did with single dimension array, you did with double dimension array, and now you did the same thing with dictionary. Now one thing you need to understand in dictionary, that if you wanna, forget about this, right? If you wanna print, let's say, like you say fruit sub color, and you put it like this, right, like this, and here you put apple, it'll print red. Why? Because that's the key. See here, this is a key, and you say apple fruit sub is, this is the name of the dictionary, right? And apple print, it will print red because you just gave it a key. Here we go. See here, red, it printed red. Okay. So in the previous, what we just did a while ago, as you can see here. Okay, sorry. Yeah, here I'm gonna go back there again to that program here. The same way, if you run I in fruit color, so value 5 first time will be the key, not the actual value. So apple, first time when the I will run, it will be, if you run a loop through, dictionary, first time value will be apple, then banana, then grapes, and then you want to use that to print fruit name, but the color has to be fruits are by, which means whatever the value of I is, first apple, so that will print its value, red, yellow and purple. I hope you understood this, and if I run this in front of you, you will see exactly same output as we did in the previous one. Here you go, apple, banana, grapes, red, yellow, and this. Now let's move on to the next stage, how you actually change the value, right? So how you actually change the value. So let's say I'll show you how to change the value here rather than there. So now you already have a value set for fruit color. So I wanna, maybe I don't like apple being red, so I wanna change the value here. I will say fruit sub colors, right? And here I wanna change the value of apple. and here I say equal to, instead of red, I like green apples, right? Green. Okay. Now this here, this is the key. That's its value in dictionary. And here, once this dictionary is defined, I'm changing its value here against this key to green. Okay. And banana, I like, you know, there are green bananas as well. So I like green banana. I don't like yellow banana. I like banana when it's green. Well, a bit hard to eat, but hey ho. Who cares, you know? As long as my banana is green, I'll be happy to eat it. There we go. So now my banana is going to be green as well. So my apple is green, red to green. I changed it, and that banana, and then leave the grape, for God's sake, purple. Let's eat purple grapes. Who wants to eat green grapes? I don't want to eat green grapes. I like my green grapes to be purple. So I want to keep it purple. So let's see if I run these two lines, line number 7 and 8. It's going to change, the line number 7 is going to change my apple to green and my banana to green as well, and then leave my grape as purple. So let's run it and see what happens. Here we go. Bingo. You see here, my apple is green, my banana is green, and it left my grape alone, which is purple, because I like my, you know, apple grape to be purple. But I think Muhammad Ayada like the grape to be green. So no, not here, purple. So I want to make an effort for him to this to be green as well. So now everything is going to be green because I changed those dictionary values here. So here I'm going to put here grape as well. If you like grape to be green, so everything is green here. You see here, everything is green now. Your apple is green, your banana is green, your grape is green. Now with this example, right? Let me show you slightly code in a bigger one window. Here you go. So with this example, you see what I did. I defined a dictionary here, right? Then I actually directly access these key value pair. So I access the apple, change it to green. Access the banana here, change it to green. Grapes, I change it to green. And when I printed it here, everything is green, right? Now that's how you actually play around with dictionary. So let me ask you a question. How do you feel about this dictionary and this here you go, this way of like using list? So you can use list for the same thing. If you want to change the list, green, the second list has to be all green. You see here, green, and now I'm running this loop through index. Everything will be green, and if I run this, it will be all green as well. See here, this is called toList, and then we had use this way of doing things through dictionary, and then I access the dictionary and I change it, right? Now I think enough with the fruit, right? I'm feeling hungry already. It's almost 1:30. Move on to actual thing, because this video is getting a bit longer, and I know you're panicking because your exam is there, so I want to keep it short. So let's move on to the actual thing now. I'll give you another example. Look at here. This is a dictionary, looping through dictionary for capital, right? So I wanna do the capital. I wanna do the country in capital. So when I run this, instead of I put here country now. So first it's going to say KSA Japan and this, and it will print the country here, and then capital is, right? This is the key, right? So it's going to say capital is Riyadh, Tokyo, and Riyadh, London, and Tokyo. So KSA, country KSA, the capital of country, capital of KSA is Riyadh, capital of UK is London, capital of Japan is Tokyo. So if I run this, right? If I run this dictionary, here you go. You're going to get this, looping through the dictionary. This is what we need to learn, how to loop through the dictionary. So this is, I said here country. I could say here anything, really. I don't like to put here country. I'm going to maybe say accent, but you got to keep, and this capital, you can call it, instead of capital, you can call it Y, right? Because that's a dictionary name. You can have any name you want. I know this makes sense to some people. So if I put here X and Y instead of country and capital, so now Y is our dictionary name, X is our will be again, value of X would be same. country. Okay, just change the name. So I would say the capital of, instead of country, I will say X, mean whatever the name of the country, and here I will say, instead of capital, I'll say Y, and here I'll say X. You see, these are the name of the dictionary. You can keep any name of the dictionary right here, and same with the loop. So if I run it, same output, no problem, right? No problem. But because we like to name, rather than X and Y, we like to name it what we want to name it. So this is how you can do it. So you learn how to loop through the dictionary. Now I hope I have built your concept about dictionary, right? How to use dictionary in different situations. So if I want to call it, let's say name is Abdullah, okay, and these are Abdullah's marks. I want to say he received, and by the way, I can give marks. I don't have to have this. I can give marks like this as well, Abdullah, and Abdullah, because I can keep it like, instead of without quotation, and now it is a digit, right? Abdullah, name. I want to say name. No. I want to say name. Okay, name. That would be what? Abdullah. Right, and I want to say marks. Let's slightly change it. Marks. Abdullah will receive 80 marks. I know Abdullah is going to get panic if I give him less than 80 marks. That would be grade, marks. And I would say subject. Okay, and here I could say EE 101. Because it's a string, so I would say EE 101. So here, and this is just one key. Just what? One key. One. Now, if I don't need to loop through this. Why? Because I can still loop through this. So I don't have to do this. I would say X. Okay, and then comma equal, and I would say Y sub X. Now it's gonna print name Abdullah, marks 80, subject this. Let's see name Abdullah, marks 80, as you see here at the bottom. Yeah, this one. Yeah. Now if I don't use loop and I just straightforward print it, I say print Y, the whole dictionary. What would you print? See, it would print like this. See here. Let me print a little line in between. Print little line. Oh no, line is like this, isn't it? So you know what is what. So this loop is gonna print. This loop printed these two lines, this line and that line, printed this output, right? And then at the bottom, after this line, this print Y just printed it straight away, like the way it is saved. So you could use the loop and change the format like I did, or you could just directly print it. Now the thing is, I just only had Abdullah. I have more students here, right? So what would I do? I will have multi-dimension. For that, I need a multi-dimension array. So I would say here, this is one, right? I would say here, I think it's comma, isn't it? Another one like this, and then at the end I would put a comma like this, right? I mean this, and I have to put a comma here as well, like this, right? So I put it. This is a double dimension now. This is starting, this is ending, and within that I have two dimensions. So here I will say a name Mudassir, right? Mudassir, and I don't want to get more marks than Abdullah. Abdullah is going to be jealous, so I'm going to give myself 75, right? And if I now here use the loop, it'll obviously print the whole thing just like it printed earlier on. And what was the problem here? Dictionary comma, it's comma, isn't it? Yeah. Double dimension, sorry. For double dimension, there is a slightly different way doing it, all right? There's a slightly different way doing it, and that is basically you can have a key and then you can have values for double dimension, right? So it's not like this double dimension, it's slightly differently. How? Right, okay, so we will have a key here. Okay, sorry, I need to give a key as well for this one. So I will say Abdullah's ID. What is the ID for Abdullah? I would say first student, right, like this, right? And then I will have a second student like this. Okay, first student, second student, and let's basically print the whole thing rather than this. Right, now if I run it, see here, this is perfectly fine. Here you go. So actually what because it works on the key value, this is a double dimension array, but it works on the key value, which means I put an ID. This is the ID of the Abdullah 1, 2, and I could even put whatever I want to put. I mean, I could even put a section name here as well. Abdullah is maybe from section, 101, 1, 2, 3, or whatever. But anyway, ID is good. So if I loop through this, you see here, this is a key, and that within that key there is a full list, the full list like this. Now this becomes a double dimension list, right? This becomes a double dimension list. I know it's going to blow your mind. So you need to remember that the list comes in key pair. So even double dimension, every dimension you have to have a key pair. This is a key 1, 2, and then you have the whole dimension here, right? Now if I want to loop through this, right? If I want to loop through this, I have actually done it here. No, I haven't done it here, right? Okay, if I loop through this, let's loop through this. Okay, we say for x in y. Let's see what it does. And if I print x, let's see what it does this time. There you go, 1, 2, 3. See, this is exactly same concept. Remember what I did the last time? Now because in the fruit and wedge thing, right? If I go back here, where is that thing, fruit and wedge? Here. Yeah. So if I say no, this one. Yeah, I in fruit. So I is actually the key, apple, banana, and grapes, right? Because it's looping through the key, right? And same thing with the double dimension array here. If I say for x in y is this, okay, value of x would be the key. First time it will be 1 and then 2. But if I want to print this whole thing, right, I have to print like this. I would say comma, okay, and then I want to say x sub, y sub x. Let's see what it print. Here you go. See, 1 name Abdullah, marks this and that, and I can even say here ID is equal to 1 like this. ID is equal to 1, comma, and details. I would say details, info maybe. Okay, here we go, and that makes more sense. Oh no, comma is always a problem. Here we go. You see here now. So ID 1, as you see, ID 1 info, all this. By the way, I've done this lecture in the, and that day there was I think most of the students were absent on dictionary. I explained these things, but I'm happy to record and do this again. But you need to really go through this and understand. This is double dimension list. We may not have to deal with it, but I did a lecture on this one as well. Now this is what I did earlier on. Remember when I explained you this? Remember this one in the class? I explained you this in the class. I had a whole lecture on this in the class, second last class, that we had a dictionary, right? We had a dictionary. We open a file, pick up from location, and then we for line, and we split it with each line we pick up with the comma. We have multiple of these. Then we put a dictionary, and then we do this. Now we don't have to deal with double dimension array here. We just have to deal with single dimension array, not a double dimension array, because we don't have to, right? But this thing, what we're doing on the double dimension here, what is the double dimension? Sorry, we can make it slightly simple. We can make the double dimension slightly simple for you to understand right, for you to understand. Instead of doing this, we could do another thing here. We could say, we could do this one as well. We say, yeah, 1. We could say 1, right? And then we could get rid of this, right? And then we could say y sub 2, like this. Okay, like exactly the way we did in location, right? This one here, right? And y sub 2, sorry, yeah, this is y sub 2 equal like this. And what we need to do is, before we need to define y empty, we need to say y empty, right, like this, y empty, like this. And then we say 1 and 2, and then we can loop through exactly same way, and it would mean the same thing. And this one I need to get rid of. All right, same thing, receive potato. There we go. Look at that, same thing. See, it's a double dimension array now, and that's what we used in the lecture during our class, right? So it's a double dimension array. So you create an array first, like this, y empty array, okay? Then you y sub 0, you put this whole list into it, okay? And then y sub 1, you put a whole list into it, and that becomes this key here now. And when I print x, y, for x in y, first it will go through 1, and then it will go through 2. See here, 1, and then it will go through 2. So see ID here, this is 1 and this is 2, because you can put any ID here, like, you know, you could put whatever you like here. Instead of 1 2, you could put here first. Here you can put second. This is the key, by the way, for double dimension array. This is another way to put the key, but key has to be unique, right? Now if I do this, it will be ID will be first here instead of 1, and then the second, and then the rest will be as it is. Here you see here, first, second, and the rest is as it is, right? So this is what I want to really you to practice this and understand the concept here, right, for list. And once you've done that, this concept, when you master it, and let me actually, I think I should explain it one more time. I know some of you did not really understand it, so I'm going to explain it one more time, right? So what are we doing here? This is y. All right, let's start from the beginning. What it's doing is creating an empty dictionary, okay? And you say y sub first, this is a key, and within the key you put the whole dictionary. This is double dimension dictionary, right? And then you put y another key and put the whole dictionary there. And then you print it through the loop. This is gonna, x is gonna be the key, which is first, and you know, key is what, first and second, right? So it's gonna ID first and second, and info, the whole list. Y sub x mean the whole list. When you say y sub first, you know, this one, because first time value of x would be first, so that would be the whole listing. Then this whole listing. That's why at the bottom you print the whole thing. I mean, we talk about, like, you know, this single dimension array, but you can make even, let's make this double dimension. So you want to say fruit. Now we have a fruit. If I change this, how would I do that? Let's do it here. If I say fruits, this is a list of fruit. I would say this is fruit, which one? Sweet fruit. Okay, like this. I could do this, right? And then I make another list of fruit, which is sour, right? Like this, sour list. Now this is become a double dimension as well, right? So if I do this, now it's gonna be fruit category, right? Obviously, if I run it, it may get an error. Why? Because I have to now, because I'm creating this, so I have to do this on top, fruit color and empty list. I have to create an empty list because I'm directly adding value to it, right? And instead of a range, I cannot do range anymore. I have to do this like this. I have to do in fruit underscore colors. I have to loop through it, and fruit name, I mean always gonna be because when you say I, it's gonna be I. It's not gonna be fruit name. It's gonna be fruit category, because it's sweet and now there are two categories. So there's gonna be fruit category. Right? I is category, and then the whole info. This will be info again, because it's gonna print against each category. It's gonna first say sweet and print all of it. Then it's gonna say sour. It's gonna print all of it. Sour fruit is what? I don't know. I mean, I would say I don't know. I don't know many sour fruit. Grapes is sour. All right. Red grapes are sour. Maybe green grapes are sour. Okay, and that's it. The grapes are sour. The rest are get rid of grapes here. So only sweets are apple and banana, and grapes are sour. Right. So two categories: sweet and sour. Right. And sour means a bit of bitter taste. Right. That's the taste, by the way. This is sweet and this is sour. And if I do this, yeah, I don't need to do this now here. I will just simply, well, shall I fruit color, shall I fruit colors sub I, that's it, sub I, that's it, sub I, here we go. And I do this, what is that? Color is not defined. Fruit colors is not defined. Fruit colors is not defined. Which line? 12. Fruit, yeah, this is wrong. Fruit colors like this. Here we go. See, exactly double dimension array. I just changed the whole thing in front of you. Fruit, see here now. Fruit category I would be what? Category sweet and sour. That's the I. Okay, and why? Because I put their key like this, sour. And under this there are two fruits. So under sweet it printed two fruits, and then under sour it printed only single fruit, right? Okay. Let's leave it like that. Now go back to the program that I explained in the class. Here, this was the program I explained in the class. I think I'll take another lecture on this, because this lecture is getting a little longer. So I'm going to stop here, and in the next video I'm going to explain this. All right.